Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Friday the 19th of May comes to you from London. And we start by looking at the dollar index. Dollars had a really big fall this week, recovered a little bit yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how we end the week. Big downside target here now, another 4.5% downside. So that's quite significant. New downside target given, not yet activated. We need to go below the level we saw at the start of yesterday for that to be activated, and we're seeing here that we are just on a support level, and of course the long-term chart is still bullish, but there's no question that the US dollar has really had a rout lately, and that's translated into the euro looking stronger, just starting to get through the cloud on the price really for the first time in years. So the euro is looking better. But interestingly, when you look at these long-term charts, we still have longer down columns than we do up columns. So whilst it looks more and more positive, in the long-term picture, we're still bearish on the euro. So it's going to be significant, and we need to see can we activate this new upside target to 118 if we move higher. That's 6% upside. If we can get, say, above this 112 level, that would activate that. So really key to watch, can the euro go higher still? Looking at the Japanese yen, we're seeing here the dollar deteriorated as well in the week, and so the yen just strengthening a little bit over the last 24 hours as well. Sterling at 129.75, just struggling to break this 130 level. Similarly as the euro, we've got a long-term bearish picture. Can we break through? And looking at the euro sterling chart, euro has had the upper hand of late. Looking at sterling Swiss, much the same picture, and against the Australian dollar, quite mixed, just sitting in these mid 170s right now. The S&P 500 index, just taking a look at US stock markets, fell away very strongly the day before yesterday or Wednesday, and now we're just seeing the attempt to recover. Is this a buying opportunity for the market? That's the big question. We really need to break convincingly above this 2400 level, and we would activate a new upside target. The medium and long-term chart's still very bullish. It's just the bearish picture has changed a bit this week. Nasdaq much the same. We're just seeing some downside pressure there in the short term, but the long-term and medium-term trends are intact, as is the case with the Dow Jones and the Russell 2000. Looking at the futures this morning in London, just up very slightly. So on the S&P future, not much change. On the Nasdaq E-mini, we're just wandering back towards trying to get back above the cloud in the short term, but no key as to which way the market will open there. FTSE is up this morning, holding its short-term trend. So unlike the US, FTSE has really held its trend. So we're bullish on all three timeframes on the FTSE 100 at the moment, and the FTSE 250 is a little bit more mixed, but again bullish in the medium and long term. The DAX is recovering, but it did go below its cloud in the short term, so not looking as bullish as the FTSE was. Nikkei is holding its trend, just finding support on the cloud, and the Hang Seng also didn't enter a bearish territory. Shanghai Composite, the local market in China, is just now starting to wander through the cloud on the short term. The medium term chart has been quite worrying, so we're still bearish on all three charts, but it looks like the short term picture may be turning around. The Sensex down very slightly, but again maintained its uptrend on all three charts, and the Australian market is actually just still holding this bearishness in the short term. Brent crude rising this morning, so we're back above the $52 level. The key thing is the medium term chart is still pretty bearish with that lower low. How high can Brent go? Where will we hit resistance? We do have targets of 4 and 7% in the short term chart, so we are seeing a lot of volatility, and we've found some support on the trend there, but it'll be interesting to see can Brent go further on those charts. WTI, we do have this $37.70 target, $37 target hanging over us, but we do again have upside targets here. So we are just seeing thrusts off the bottom. Looks like crude might have a better couple of weeks. US nat gas just sitting at $3.20 at the moment, and copper, we're seeing much the same thing, just rising above the cloud here. In commodities generally, we're seeing coffee down quite significantly. This chart is bearish on all three time frames really, the long-term chart just turning more bearish. Cocoa is up 1.5%, And if we look at sugar, that's down about 1.6%. Most soft commodities still looking quite weak, so that's quite interesting. The gold chart is really finding support here on the cloud on the short term of the price and on the medium term chart. Support being found. We're bullish on all three time frames here for gold, so that is quite significant. So keeping an eye on that. Silver, also just finding some support and recovering, but the medium-term chart not as good as gold. Taking a look at US Treasuries, the 10-year yield is 2.24%. We were as low as 2.17 yesterday on these political woes, but interestingly we're recovering. Taking a look at Apple, bullish above the cloud on all three time frames, as is Google, as is Amazon. So these big players not really affected. Facebook did go below the cloud in the short term, and we do have some short-term targets here. But the interesting thing is that long and medium-term charts still have these upside targets. And much the same is true of Microsoft. We are below the cloud. We do have a little bit of short-term sell-off, but the long and medium-term charts still look good. That's it for today. Until Monday, have a great weekend. Happy charting. See you then.